You ever get that feeling that something's going on beneath the surface, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Like when you're talking to a woman and she laughs a little too long or looks away a little too fast, and you wonder, what does that mean? Is it nerves? Is it attraction? Is she pulling back? Leaning in? You don't want to overthink it, but let's be honest. Sometimes you just know there's more going on behind that smile than she's letting on. And the truth is, you're absolutely right. Because women, whether they realize it or not, carry with them certain emotional soft spots, vulnerabilities, triggers. Let's just call them hidden weaknesses. Not in the sense of flaws or faults, but in the way that even the strongest, most confident people have buttons that can be pushed. Moments where their guard slips, even if just for a second. And if you're a man trying to understand her, really see her, not just the image she projects, but what's underneath, you've got to learn to notice those moments. You've got to learn to read between the lines. So today, we're going to peel back that curtain. We're diving deep, not into games or tricks, but into real understanding. The kind that doesn't just make you more attractive, it makes you dangerous, in a good way. Because once you can see these hidden emotional patterns, you stop reacting and start responding. And that changes everything. Let's talk. There's this moment I'll never forget. I was sitting across from someone I'd just met, beautiful, intelligent, totally self-assured. The kind of woman who walks into a room and somehow everyone notices, even if she's not trying to be seen. And as we talked, she kept brushing her hair behind her ear, nodding, smiling, but her eyes kept scanning the room. Not obviously, subtly. Like she was searching for something she wasn't getting from me. Or maybe from the room itself. At first, I chalked it up to nerves, but the more I paid attention, the more I realized it wasn't about me. It was about something deeper. Like she was looking for a sense of safety. Not physical safety, but emotional certainty. She wanted to be seen, not admired, not flirted with, seen. And the moment I slowed down, dropped the charm, and just noticed her, she stopped scanning. She leaned in. That was the first time I really understood one of the hidden truths about women. They want connection, yes, but not the surface kind. They want a man who sees the cracks in their armor and doesn't flinch. A man who doesn't try to fix them, just notices they're there, and it doesn't stop there. Sometimes what we think is strength in a woman, being independent, being busy, being untouchable, is actually a kind of shield. She's been hurt before. She's built walls. And now the idea of someone getting too close? It terrifies her. So she keeps everything light, casual, fun. But if you pay attention, if you really listen, you'll start to notice these tiny tells, like how she talks about her past, the things she skips over, the way her voice shifts when she talks about someone who let her down, or how she gets quiet when things get too real. Not because she's not interested, but because something inside her is bracing for pain. And here's the catch. If you rush in, if you push too hard, try too soon to get her, she'll vanish. But if you can stay present, calm, unshaken, she starts to trust you. Not because of what you say, but because of what you don't react to. That's the first real key most men miss. The space between the words is where her truth lives. Now look, I know this might sound heavy, but it's not about walking on eggshells or treating women like they're fragile. They're not. In fact, most women are stronger than they get credit for. But strength doesn't mean immunity. Confidence doesn't mean she's bulletproof. Sometimes the most confident women carry the deepest fears. They laugh loudest, not because they're always happy, but because it drowns out the parts of them that feel unseen. They keep themselves busy, achieve more, handle it all, because slowing down would mean feeling things they've buried for years. And if you're not paying attention, if you only see what's on the surface, you'll miss the parts of her that actually matter, the parts that crave something real. I remember this one woman who told me, after months of dating, that the thing she remembered most from our first conversation was that I didn't interrupt her. Not once. She said she wasn't used to that. Men usually jumped in, finished her sentences, tried to impress her. She was used to being pursued, but not heard. And that stuck with me, because it wasn't about me doing something special. It was about doing less. Letting silence exist without trying to fill it. Letting her talk without steering the conversation. Just being there. What most guys don't realize is that one of the biggest female weaknesses, if we want to call it that, is emotional. Anticipation. Women feel the emotional tone of the room before the words even start. They can sense neediness, insecurity, arrogance, all of it. But they also sense calm, presence, masculine stillness. When you can sit in that quiet and not flinch, that's when she starts to open. Another thing I've seen time and time again, women tend to carry emotional weight long after a moment has passed. An offhand comment you made last week? She remembers. The way you looked at her when you were frustrated, still with her, but not because she's overly sensitive. It's because her memory isn't just mental, it's emotional. It's stored in how you made her feel. And the flip side is beautiful. When you make her feel safe, respected, wanted, but not used, she stores that too. She might not say it, might not show it right away, but it lingers. Sometimes the quietest. Women have the loudest emotions, and sometimes the loudest women are the loneliest. But you only see that if you're not distracted by the mask. Now, I'm not saying this to make you paranoid. You don't need to analyze every eye twitch or decode every text message like it's a CIA signal. It's not about figuring her out. It's about feeling her out. Being grounded enough in yourself that you don't chase every emotional spark like a moth to a flame. And here's a wild thing. When you start noticing these emotional layers in women, you start noticing them in yourself too. You realize how many times you brushed something off that actually mattered, how many times you put up a front, and suddenly dating isn't about tactics anymore. It's about truth. Here's the part most people don't talk about. The most hidden emotional weakness a woman has is not being chosen for who she really is, not her looks, not her charm, not her performance, but her soul, her mess, her moods, her need to be wanted, even when she's not perfect. And most men never see that. Because we're taught to chase beauty, status, chemistry, but not truth. But when a woman meets a man who sees her soul and doesn't flinch, that's when she breaks. In a good way. That's when she stops performing and starts being. And that's when you stop chasing and start connecting. So yeah, there are weaknesses, not in the way we usually think of them, but in the human, beautiful, raw kind of way. And when you can see them, not exploit them, but honor them, you become the kind of man she can't forget. Because every woman is strong in her own way. But even the strongest want to rest sometimes. To drop the mask. To be held, not just physically, but emotionally. To know that the man across from her sees her. So if you want to be different, if you want to be real, don't just look at what she shows you. Look for what she's hiding. Because behind every little glance, every pause, every guarded laugh, there's something she's hoping someone will notice. And if that someone is you, she'll never forget you.